had an icebreaker, now we have cold calls to conquer. His objectives are to learn a technique for cold call selling of expensive products or services. Second, recognize the risks buyers assume in purchasing. Third, use questions to help the buyer discover problems with his or her current situation. Last, successfully handle buyers' objections and concerns. The time is 10 to 14 minutes. It's a lengthy speech, and Marvin also would like us to have a lot of audience involvement as his special request.
Marvin's an engineer by trade, and he recently got some experience with sales and doing cold calling, so he's going to explain more about Marvin.
When was the last time you made a sale, or you were selling something? In the last 24 hours, did you make any sale? Actually, we are making sale. We are selling each and every moment. Whether it's selling it to your boss about a new school idea that you're working on, or whether it's selling it to your daughter that she should not tear off too much pages because that's very important. So it's all sales. Even right now, we are sitting across the tables. We are selling something to each other. I am trying to sell you this idea about how to do sales, versus you are giving me some sort of a expression that we don't buy your idea. Or we are, that's a great thought. That's something that's important. And so you are giving me some vibe. So it's both sides. We are selling at each and every moment. So this is extremely important. Why is it that we always say it's art of selling? Art is something that I don't understand because it's not predictable. And I, as an engineer, feel like it should be more, if I can have some steps, design it well so that I know what the outcome of that selling is going to be. So can we do something to make it a skill and not a talent? Talent is something people are born with. Skill is something that you can develop over a period of time. If I tell you there are 10 steps in here and you keep on practicing those 10 steps, you are going to be a good salesman. That's what we want to do. To do that, what I did is I broke it down, this whole sales process, whatever that sales process might be, break it down into 3 core steps. The 3 core steps are what you do before the sell, and again, this is cold calling that we're talking about. Before you prepare your subject or person, what do you do? So you do some preparatory work, and then when you're actually the part of it, what do you do? And then after the fact, what do you do? So 3 things that we do. Now, let's get started. First one is about preparation. Most of you must have heard about that when you're selling something, the preparation is to really know about your product. Oh, great. We have to know about the product that we're selling. Whether it's the idea that we're selling, we have to understand what we are trying to sell, what we're talking about, whether it's talking to your daughter about why it's important that tearing of the papers is not a good idea. So you have to kind of have the complete knowledge about it. You have to understand what the market is, and the market might be defined in different ways, but you have to understand the market, the trends that are around it. And also, you need to understand your customer. That's the most important. That's the person that you're selling it to. So you have to understand your customer. And when I say your customer, there might be a bigger, higher level customers, and there might be a like demographics and all that based on higher level, versus if you're selling a cold calling thing, then you have to understand that a specific customer that you're targeting to, what does that customer mean? What his interests are. Now we have so many tools. We have Facebook, we have Google, we have LinkedIn. We can do that research, and we can find out exactly what that person is about. And now I'm going to share with you some of the things that I've learned in the last 5 years about selling. These are not something that, again, there might be some books that might be referred to it, but these are my personal stuff that I'm talking about. And one of the most important things, the basic fact about selling, is we don't sell the specific product. We actually sell people, humans, and how do we make their lives better? It's about how do we make them something in their life, simpler, easier, or more time with their kids, something of that sort. How do we make that possible? Whether it's a high-tech product about the biggest gadget, whether we're talking about the cell phone, and I don't know where my cell phone is, but whether it's a cell phone that we're talking about, it's all about the product that we're selling. It's all about how do we make the life of the person that you're talking to easier. So it's important that you understand why that person cares about that. So as a pre-preparation, you have to understand what this is all about. And then eventually, when you have a chance to talk about it, you have to be prepared about going and talking to the person. Now, whatever the form, whatever the medium of communication is, there's one common instrument that we always use in all communication. Can somebody guess that? What is that common instrument?
Talk.
Yes, that's human voice. Exactly right. Human voice. This voice is the strongest, the biggest instrument that we all have. And we have to make sure that it comes out right. To have it right, we have to do some warm-up. And for the warm-up, generally what I do is like two things. One is that your vocal cords, if you sit there long, gets very or dull or whatever you call it, but it's not in a position to talk very passionately. So you have to bring it to the level that you can talk. That's one thing. And second is that your body also, your brain also needs some energy, some oxygen. So you have to do all that before you even talk to the person. Now, to do that, I have devised some exercises. One is that when you do the physical exercises, you enlarge yourself. We are human beings. We are like an animal species. So once we become large, we feel powerful. So if you stand like this, you are weak. Versus if you stand like this, and it's purely in your own space, you can do that. And what you do is how much space you can occupy. As soon as you occupy more space, you feel powerful. You get the energy. You have the enthusiasm to really fight it out. That's one step. Then about the vocal cords. What you do is either you can talk and talk and talk, which might not be possible. So let's say you're going for an interview, for a job, you might not have a chance to really talk. Go to a restroom and try to practice your vocal cords. And if you want to try it out, maybe you can stand up. Do you want to stand up, please? And breathe in and throw it out like this. And practice it 2 times. We won't do it like, it's actually five minutes, but 2 times. So I think that's good enough. We can practice. Thank you. So what we're trying to do here is bring in that energy to your vocal cords. And what it does is that when you're talking, you have much better control on your voice. And that's what you need. Now, you're ready for talking to your customer. Go in, and the most important thing, whether it's a product, whatever you're doing, is to connect with the person. And the way to connect with the person is to really understand what's common between us, what makes us connect, what makes us together. That's when you start the next level of conversation. And that's when you talk about the product or the specific needs of the person, and then you get to the product, and then you start selling. And then, once you've done this, you go back to your home. Make the notes, what you talked about, because that's not the end of it. And especially if you're a high-tech or a bigger budget item that you're selling, there's going to be more information that has to go in. So make notes, and then follow up with that conversation. That's about it. Whether it's a sales, even the job interview is actually a sales call. Whether it's you're selling it to your daughter, whether you are selling it to your boss, it works everywhere. That's the most important thing. Now, to really demonstrate this, let me invite Sharon. And what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to try to sell him some idea about a summer school, which is quite revolutionary idea about summer schools. It's expensive product that I'm trying to sell him. versus as compared to the market, it's much cheaper to get it. So what we're going to try to do is, I'm going to convince him that this is worth his investment and is a good thing for his kids to go into this summer school. Please welcome Sharan. Hi Sharan.
Hey, Arvind.
Hi. How are you?
Very well, thanks.
What do you do?
Right now, Toastmasters, you mean? What do I do for work?
For work?
Yeah, I work as a product manager at a security firm.
Oh, okay. I used to be a product manager 5 years ago.
Nice.
Okay.
Do you like it?
I used to like it.
Used to, okay.
And I liked it. Now I do more analytics and modeling, this
Financial modeling?
financial modeling. So that's also fun. And how about the person, like how many kids do you have?
Oh, I have 2 kids, 2 girls, 8 and 4.
8 and 4. Okay. That's interesting. Summers are approaching. Are you considering some sort of a summer camp or something educational for your kids?
Oh, absolutely. So we usually book our summer camp in February. So yeah, I got notification in December saying that you better book your summer camps, otherwise you won't be able to send your kids. So usually every year we book around February timeframe.
Oh, okay. So you booked it, but how do you decide that which summer camp to send your kids to?
That's a very hard question. Most of the time, it depends on the interest the kid has. My older daughter likes art and science, so we usually try to pick art and science themed summer camps.
Okay, and art and science, and I assume, based on what you told me earlier, is that you are an engineer.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you want your kids to have a good perspective of the world and can feel different things that are happening around them.
Sure, yeah.
And I had the same challenge, and I also have 2 kids, and I had the same challenge. So I spent quite a bit of time to really understand the local summer camps that are there, and I wasn't able to find any, which is something where people who are teaching are passionate enough to teach whatever they're teaching. And eventually, what I ended up doing is kind of created a voluntary organization where parents who are very passionate about something that they are doing every day, and like you as a product manager or a specific product, you know about it very in detail. And if you talk about your product, you are going to be really great at what you teach to your kids.
Mm-hmm.
So why not share that knowledge? Why not share that knowledge over to your kids? We created this organization. It's a little expensive, but the purpose here is that our kids get the best of the knowledge in the world from the best of the teachers. Again, this is our kids, so we have a vested interest. So we teach the best.
So you just mentioned that it's a voluntary organization, and now you're saying it's expensive.
Yes, you are right, that it's expensive. The reason being that other schools are like Walmarts.
Mm-hmm.
They have a supply chain and well-tuned supply chain, versus we are working every day and trying to figure out things, which means we are not well-tuned, but we are well-tuned in terms of the expenses. So we have to find a place which turns out to be like $25 an hour, where the kids are going to assemble. Then the material that we're going to bring in is not in bulk. It's going to be very specific to the project and specifically for that, and after that we don't need that because that same class won't happen again. So which means if you add up these expenses, and some of the times we have to really get it from Amazon or very specialized places, which might not be available everywhere. So it turns out that some of these things become extremely expensive.
Sure. So okay. So can you talk a little bit about your philosophy and what what type of activities you lined up for kids?
So
the idea sounds intriguing. So I would like to hear more.
Okay. What I'll do is I'll send you over our brochure that we have created, like a website where all the parents or the people who are part of this organization come in and pitch in their ideas as well as what their thoughts are. And you'll get a better view of these things. So I'll send it over to you and you can look at it, and if you need more information, you can just email me.
Sure.
Okay? Thank you,
Okay.
Sharan.
Thanks,
And-
Arvind.
So if you see the way we connected, that we have some commonalities, and then we talked about what we can do together on this front. Since we have 30 seconds, maybe one question to Sharon. Is there something that you could have done better?
Oh, definitely. I think what would have really helped me is, I'll send you a brochure, read about it. I would have liked to hear in like elevator pitch of why your camp is better than any other camps.
Okay.
I think that would have been much better for me, because right now I heard something that there's a volunteer, people are teaching you voluntarily, and it's expensive, and you sign me something. This is what I got out of the conversation. So it would have helped me if there was an elevator pitch and said, hey, this is what we do, this is what we are better at, and that would have helped ourselves some start. We are accredited, or we have 80% turnover, 80% students who went, who came to our summer camp last year, are repeat customers and things like that. That would have helped.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Sharon. We'll consider that.
Sure.
Okay. So, just to conclude your thoughts, it's connecting with humans. All selling is connecting with humans and creating that bond and trying to convince the person that it's a better proposition than what's available in the market. So keep selling and you can do better each time. It's a skill, it's not a talent.